Alfred Hitchcock once said, "The script is the most important part of a film. In martial arts cinema, choreography is just as important as the script. The choreographer is as vital as the director." That is why the Hong Kong film industry never fails to honor masters like Sammo Hung and Yuen-Woo-Ping. To truly understand the greatness of Hong Kong cinema, we can't overlook them. In last episode, I presented about the legendary Sammo Hung. Today, we are looking at the master of movement himself, Yuen-Woo-Ping, the sword master behind the movement. He uses movement as a language. He treats a fight scene like a dialogue scene. He views weapons as extensions of the soul. In this video, we will look back to see his movement through Hong Kong Golden Age. Young years of the sword. Yuen-Woo-Ping was born in 1945, raised in a family deeply rooted in both martial arts and the film industry. He was the eldest son of Yuen Siu-tien, a pioneering martial arts actor and the first kung fu choreographer in Hong Kong cinema. His father began teaching Yuen and his siblings kung fu at a very young age. Yuen grew up with many siblings. They also entered the film business. This family became known as the Yuen clan, a group of choreographers and actors who collaborated on numerous films. Along with his brothers, Yuen was sent by his father to study at the China Drama Academy of Master Yu Jim Yuen. But he was a day student, not the all-time student like Sammo Hung, Jackie Chan and Seven Little Fortunes. But he trained together with them. In Peking opera, conflict is never chaotic. It is a timed dance. It is all about rhythm. He transformed fight scenes into visual music. 1960, he entered the industry as child actor. He appeared as a celestial spirit in the 1962 film Madame White Snake. At that time, his father was famous for long-running Wong Fei-hung film series. So his father used his connections to get Yuen work in the Wong Fei-hung film series. Yuen appeared as an extra and performed stunts in several of these classic films. By the mid-1960s, he had transitioned into Shaw Brothers' era. Throughout the mid-1960s and into the early 1970s, he worked at Shaw Brothers Studio. He worked under the legendary directors Chang Che and Cho Yuen. He played small parts such as a thug, monk, or villager. Some of his minor appearances include classic films like One-Armed Swordsman, 1967, Golden Swallow, 1968, The Deadly Duo, 1971, and The Boxer from Shantung, 1972. Toward the end of his time at the studio, he began developing his skills behind the camera. He and his brother, Yuen Chung-yan, worked as assistant action choreographers on various productions. At that time, Aung Si-yuen noticed Yuen-Woo-Ping's vision. Shaw Brothers' system was a rigid studio system, and Yuen wanted the creative freedom. So he ended his full-time contract and worked with independent companies. In 1971, Yuen made his debut as an action director in Aung Si-yuen's debut film, Mad Killer. After that, Yuen-Woo-Ping worked as a freelance action director for various studios, choreographing films like The Bloody Fists, 1972. He also continued to choreograph for Shaw Brothers. I will divide his career into eras based on the companies he worked for, making it easy to see how different studios influenced his legendary collaborations. Seasonal film era. Yuen worked as choreographer in Aung Si-yuen's newly founded seasonal film. He choreographed The Secret Rivals, 1976, Secret Rivals Part 2, 1977, The Invincible Armor, 1977, Snuff Bottle Connection, 1977. At that time, he choreographed at Golden Harvest 2. He choreographed Angela Mao's The Himalayan, 1976, and Broken Oath, 1977. During this time, he also choreographed The Dragon, The Odds, 1977, for Eternal Film. Aung Si-yuen wrote and produced this movie. In this movie, he really started experimenting with the comedic timing that he would later use in Snake in the Eagle's Shadow. His partnership with Aung Si-yuen would eventually prove to the birth of a more dynamic, independent era of Hong Kong action. Aung Si-yuen was so impressed by Yuen's ability to structure fights that told a story, so he took a major gamble. He invited Yuen to sit in the director's chair. Snake in the Eagle's Shadow, 1978, was indeed the very first film he ever directed. Yuen recognized that Jackie Chan's strengths lay in his vulnerability, comedic timing, and acrobatic ingenuity. At that time, Jackie was under Lo Wei. They borrowed him from Lo Wei for 2 picture. In next episode of Jackie Chan, his full story will come. Yuen and Jackie collaborated for Snake in the Eagle's Shadow and Drunken Master. Snake in the Eagle's Shadow was the film that turned Jackie Chan into a superstar and established the comedic kung fu genre. Yuen and Chan dismantled the invincible hero trope that had dominated the Shaw Brothers era. By making the protagonist relatable and flawed, Yuen expanded the audience for martial arts cinema. They later collaborated on Drunken Master. He created his trademark character, Beggar as well. In 1979, he directed Dance of the Drunk Mantis without Jackie Chan. In my analysis of Yuen's Beggar history, you can watch about those movies in more detail. Don't forget to subscribe. Let's fly back to the golden age of Hong Kong with The Bird with No Legs. Golden Harvest and Peace Film Era. After completing Dance of the Drunk Mantis, Yuen-Woo-Ping moved on to direct for other major companies like Golden Harvest. While seasonal film gave him his directorial debut, Golden Harvest provided the bigger budgets and major stars like Sammo Hung and Yuen Biao. He made hits like The Magnificent Butcher, 1979, building on his success with seasonal films and proving he could deliver massive hits for Golden Harvest with The Magnificent Butcher. Yuen founded his own production company, Peace Films, in 1979. The 1980s represent the most productive phase of Yuen's career. In this era, he made films under his own company. He directed films such as The Buddhist Fist, 1980, The Miracle Fighters, 1982, and Shaolin Drunkard, 1983, and Drunken Tai Chi, 1984, under Peace Film banners. Some of these films are magical kung fu movies. The Buddhist Fist, 1980, The Miracle Fighters, 1982, are distributed by Golden Harvest, but he still worked with others too. Legend of a Fighter, 1982, was his final picture as a director with seasonal film. Yuen explored the roots of Huo Yuanjia, a character he would return to decades later with Jet Li in Fearless. Huo Yuanjia, Wong Fei Hung, and Beggar. We can say he modernized all the legends, and he directed Dreadnought, 1981, for Golden Harvest. He also choreographed Golden Harvest's Game of Death 2. It is a sequel to Bruce Lee's unfinished film directed by seasonal films founder Aung. In this era, he occasionally worked with Golden Harvest and Sammo Hung's D&B, while the Yuen brothers founded Peace Film to have their own creative home. They often didn't have the massive budget needed to produce a movie alone. Peace Film essentially acted as a boutique studio for hire. Studios gave them the money and the stars. Peace Film provided the specialized martial arts imagination. In 1985, Yuen directed Mismatched Couples, a co-production between Cinema City and Peace Film. In 1986, Yuen directed The Close Encounter of the Vampire for Phi Tang Production. Most of these movies were choreographed by Yuen Clan. Some are him alone. Whatever He is the one of choreographer too. D&B Era. In the late 1980s, Yuen-Woo-Ping began working with D&B Films. This was a major turning point for him. He had spent years making period films with traditional martial arts. At D&B, he shifted into modern urban action and gunfight. His official start as a director for D&B was in 1988 with the film Tiger Cage. In 1989, he directed In the Line of Duty for Witness. It is one of the best female-led action films. In 1990 and 1991, he directed Tiger Cage 2 and 3. The Tiger Cage trilogy remains his most famous work for the studio, and he served as the action choreographer for those films as well. These were the most influential modern action movies of that era. 1990s era. In the early 1990s, Yuen-Woo-Ping concentrated more on fight choreography. He choreographed Tsui Hark's Once Upon a Time in China 2, 1992, and Wong Jing's Last Hero in China, 1993, and then Gordon Chan's Fist of Legend, 1994, and Daniel Lee's Black Mask, 1996. All 4 films starred Jet Li. As I said in Part 4, Jet Li broke up with Raymond Chow and left Golden Harvest. While Fist of Legend and Last Hero in China were produced by Jet Li's own company, they were still distributed by Golden Harvest, a perfect example of how the interconnected Hong Kong film industry worked at the time. He directed Heroes Among Heroes. In 1993, we can say this movie is his return to origin. It is about Beggar. I had presented about that in Beggar's history. If you are watching this, you should watch that too. It's interesting. To note the timing, I suspect Stephen Chow's success showed Yuen that Beggar could truly carry a movie as the main protagonist. In the same year, 1993, he directed another of his masterpieces, Iron Monkey, 1993, and Tai Chi Master, 1993. Iron Monkey, 1993, perfected the gravity-defying aesthetic without losing the impact of the strikes. In 1994, he directed Wing Chun and Fire Dragon. Fire Dragon was one of the last films of Brigitte Lin. In 1995, Red Wolf. In 1996, Tai Chi Boxer, or Tai Chi 2. Tai Chi 2 is the debut film of today's one of China's top star, Wu Jing. In 1998, he choreographed Water Margin TV series, The Hollywood Breakthrough. The Wachowskis were such big fans of his work on Fist of Legend and Iron Monkey, they tracked him down to help them. Yuen choreographed the entire Matrix trilogy from 1999 to 2003. Yuen and his team trained Keanu Reeves, Lawrence Fishburne, and Carrie-Anne Moss for 6 months before filming began. Yuen is the man responsible for teaching Keanu Reeves and Uma Thurman how to move. He introduced Hong Kong-style wire work to Western audiences, changing the visual language of Hollywood action forever. The success of The Matrix was immediately followed by Ang Lee's Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, 2000. This film brought the wuxia genre to a massive Western audience. He won Best Action Choreography Award at Golden Horse Awards for this movie. In 2002, he choreographed Tsui Hark's Black Mask 2, City of Masks. And then he choreographed Quentin Tarantino's Kill Bill, Volume 1 and 2. The choreographer. Right after the massive success of The Matrix and Crouching Tiger, Yuen returned to Hong Kong to collaborate with Tsui Hark on high fantasy wuxia movie The Legend of Zhu. It pushed the boundaries of CGI and wire-fu to their absolute limits. While Yuen was working on Kill Bill in the US, he returned to Hong Kong to replace Sammo Hung as the action choreographer for Stephen Chow's masterpiece, Kung Fu Hustle. He was the mastermind behind the physics-defying axe gang fights and the legendary musician-assassin duel. He won the Hong Kong Film Award for Best Action Choreography for this film. His next project was Jet Li's Danny the Dog, 2005. Immediately after your Hollywood timeline ends with Danny the Dog, Yuen re-teamed with Jet Li for Li's self-proclaimed final traditional wuxia epic, Fearless, 2006. He won the Best Action Choreography Award. He then moved on to The Banquet, 2006, where he crafted action sequences that echoed the elegant, poetic style of Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, and then Jet Li and Jackie Chan's The Forbidden Kingdom, 2008. Shortly after, he reunited with the Wachowskis to serve as a fight choreography consultant for Ninja Assassin, 2009. In 2013, he choreographed Wong Kar-wai's Kung Fu masterpiece, The Grandmaster, winning him another Hong Kong Film Award. In the same year, he also choreographed Keanu Reeves' directorial debut, Man of Tai Chi. He masterminded the action for the hit Ip Man sequels, Ip Man 3 and Ip Man 4. So the director, after 14 years focused on perfecting the movement of others, Yuen returned to the director's chair in 2010. Once again, he returned to Beggar. He directed True Legend, 2010. As I mentioned, you can watch more about this in my video about Beggar history. And then in 2016, he directed the sequel of Ang Lee's Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon. It is Sword of Destiny 2016. He then reunited with Tsui Hark and directed The Thousand Faces of Dunjia 2017. It was the remake of his 1982 cult classic, The Miracle Fighters. In 2018, he directed Master Z, a spin-off of Ip Man 3, which he had previously choreographed. In 2020, he directed a segment of Septet, The Story of Hong Kong 2020, alongside Sammo Hung and Tsui Hark. In 2026, as we all know, his latest work, Blades of the Guardians, Yuen-Woo-Ping was one of the primary architects of Hong Kong Golden Age. He is still designing the landscape of cinema today. Through all the years, his contribution to cinema made some of our days better. He created the new age without destroying the old age. That is the quality of a great architect. He is one of the great architects. Now Phase 2 is complete. In Phase 3 I will present about seasonal film, Jackie Chan, Chow Yun-fat, Moon Lee, Cherry Chung, and Cinema City and Film Workshop. Subscribe for more updates. Thanks for watching.